If you are somebody who is procrastinating on a decision or taking action on something that is just looming, and every day you wake up and say, I'm going to take action on the thing, and then you go to bed that night and you haven't taken action on the thing, if that's you, then this video is for you. My name is Karen McGill. I'm an ADHD coach, and procrastination is something that we do very, very well. Now, everybody procrastinates. But I think that there are 3 reasons which brings most of us to a point of procrastination, and that's what I'm gonna talk about today. Not just because this is coming up a lot in my client conversations, but it's coming up in my own life, and it's something I need to deal with. So I thought to myself, "Why? Why am I procrastinating?" And I came up with 3 major reasons why I procrastinate, why I think most of us procrastinate. And the first one is around perfectionism. We procrastinate on things when we are afraid that we're going to screw up or it's not going to be right or we're not going to do it right and we're going to look foolish and there's fear there. Now, perfectionists are not these people that are walking around doing all the things perfect. Perfectionists are people that have an expectation of how things should be in their mind and it's way up here and they believe their skill level is down here. And whether that's true or not, there's no way that they could actually execute at this level if they never even give themselves the chance to try. So perfectionism is something that just chokes the creativity out of our lives. And very often that is the seed of procrastination. The second reason that we procrastinate is because we don't really know what the next step is. Like we know where we want to go theoretically. Sometimes we're not even really sure of that, but the next step isn't really clear, or we don't really have all the steps lined out, and so we don't wanna move forward, and the reality is that nobody has all the steps lined out. Every single person on this planet, in case you're not aware, is making life up as they go. That is the truth of the matter. Nobody knows what they're doing. If you know what you're doing, drop a comment below and say, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing," because I would really like to hear from you because the rest of us are just winging it, and I think that very often we have this feeling like we should know what we're supposed to do, but with every new thing in life that we're doing or everything that we're trying that's a little scary or that is just something we haven't done in the past, of course we're going to have that trepidation, but we think there's something wrong with having that trepidation, so we let it stop us, and that's where we fall into procrastination. So that's the second trigger. I'll go through all of these again and give you some solutions for them. And then the final thing is sometimes we think we want to do something or we think other people want us to do something. So we know we should do the thing, but we don't actually want to do the thing. So we procrastinate. We just keep pushing that boulder along, like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But we have no intention of doing it because we don't want to do it. And if you have ADHD, it is really hard to force yourself to do things you don't want to do. That's just bottom line the truth. So, what do we do about these situations? Well, in case number one, where there's a fear of screwing up, being a failure, looking foolish, procrastination, any of those, I would ask you, what do you need to do in order to give yourself the safety and confidence you need to take the next step? Maybe that's practicing. Maybe that's getting a little bit more sure of yourself. Maybe that's playing out scenarios. Maybe it's a pros and cons list. I don't know. It depends on what it is you want to do. But asking yourself that question of what is it that I need to give myself in order to feel more confident? And you don't have to feel 100% confident. Nobody feels 100% confident all the time. So it's okay to be afraid and it's okay to feel failure. Those are all human things. How can you make it a little bit easier for yourself? You don't need to throw yourself right into the fire right away. Take a little baby step, see how that feels. And that leads beautifully into number two around not really knowing what the next step is. First of all, give yourself grace and space and know that none of us know what the heck we're doing. And second of all, then appreciate the fact that you're never going to know all the steps. So, what's the next best step? And very often we think, well, I do know what the next step is, but I'm procrastinating because I don't really know how to get started on the next step. Well, start there. What do you need to do to start the next step? You don't need to have all of the ducks in a row in order to get started. There's this thing about momentum and motion. Once you are in motion, it's easier to stay in motion. If you are not in motion, it is easier to stay not in motion. So, what can you do at the very least in order to get yourself in motion? If it was to do your taxes, could you gather up all your papers? If it was to do your taxes, could you make a body doubling date with somebody or make a list of all the stuff you need to do? And appreciate that you're going to procrastinate on it, but maybe there's like one thing you can move forward. There's a lot of things you can do around the thing that you're procrastinating on to make the thing a little easier. And then the third thing, when it comes to not really wanting to do it, well, the first question I would ask you is how badly do you really want this thing? So if this thing doesn't come to fruition, if you were to just put it down and walk away, how would that make you feel inside? Does that give you a little sense of freedom or does it give you a sense of like self betrayal? There's no right or wrong answer here. It's whatever comes up, explore it and ask yourself, well, why is that? And is it really important that you do this thing? Because once again, forcing yourself to do things is something we all have to do in life to some degree. But there's a lot of things we force ourselves to do that are unnecessary or that we just think other people want us to do or that we think we should do to be a good person. And it's really good to question those things. I still think you should do your taxes, but everything else is up for negotiation. So those are the three things that I think we procrastinate on the most. And those are the powerful questions I would ask you to ask yourself in order to get yourself out of that stuck rut and moving forward. So that's what I've got for you today. I'm not feeling great today. I got COVID, boo, and I'm actually in my second week of it. So today's video is short and sweet and very minimally edited. So bear with me. I hope to feel better next week. And thank you for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.